A stressed brain reduces physical endurance by 15% even when your muscles have full fuel stores. Here is the mechanism. Most runners believe that when they hit the wall, their glycogen is depleted or their muscles have reached a physiological limit. However, the data suggests that for most submaximal efforts, you are physically capable of continuing, but your brain pulls the plug. This is the psychobiological model of endurance. The evidence comes from a landmark study by Marcora et al. In 2009. They took endurance athletes and subjected them to 90 minutes of a mentally draining computer task requiring intense, sustained attention. A control group watched a neutral documentary. Both groups then performed a time-to-exhaustion cycle test at 80% of their peak power. The physical baseline of both groups was identical. Yet, the group with the tired brains reached exhaustion significantly faster. Here is the critical physiological finding. Despite the massive difference in performance, the metabolic cost was exactly the same. Heart rate, blood lactate, and oxygen consumption, VO2, showed no significant difference between the groups throughout the test. If the muscles weren't failing, what happened? The mentally fatigued group experienced a much higher rating of perceived exertion, RPE. Their sense of how hard they were working escalated much faster, causing them to disengage prematurely. This confirms that perception of effort is independent of muscle afferent feedback. The brain does not just read the body's fuel gauge. It interprets the signal through the lens of mental fatigue. This led to the formulation of the psychobiological model. The model proposes that exhaustion is a conscious decision, not a mechanical failure. You stop when the required effort exceeds your potential motivation. If you perceive the effort as maximum, you quit, regardless of muscle capacity. Neurobiologically, this involves the Anterior Cingulate Cortex, ACC. The ACC is responsible for effort regulation. When you tax this area with stressful work or focus tasks before running, adenosine accumulates, making subsequent physical effort feel heavier. This leads to the concept of mental tapering. Just as you reduce mileage before a race to spare glycogen, you must reduce cognitive load to spare adenosine accumulation. A stressful work email right before a marathon start line is biologically expensive. Conversely, you can use this for training. Brain endurance training, BET, involves intentionally performing cognitive tasks while training to fatigue the ACC, theoretically raising your tolerance for high RPE during racing. However, for key sessions, protect your brain energy. If you have a threshold workout scheduled, do it in the morning before work decision fatigue sets in. If you run after a high-stress day, adjust your pace targets, as your RPE will be inflated. The verdict: endurance is not just a heart and lung game. Protecting your cognitive freshness is as vital as carb loading. If your brain is tired, your splits will suffer, regardless of your fitness. Train your brain, or your legs won't matter.